I'm Sarah from SidetrackedSarah.com, and today we're going to make 20 recipes to fill your freezer for the holidays, and they're all going to be able to be cooked in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot. We're going to put them all in freezer bags, like gallon-sized freezer bags, and we're going to just quickly assemble them as fast as we can. I'm hoping I can do it in 1 to 2 hours. And no, this video will not show you every last step. It will be more of a time lapse to show you how easy it is. And you can pause if you want to follow along with me. But let me show you. It will be super simple. Okay, so first off, I printed off my meal plan that I had made. I have assembly instructions already printed out. I had a grocery list that I used yesterday at the store. And so the first thing I'm supposed to do is to chop 3 yellow onions and 1 red onion. So I'm just going to get started with that because that is probably the most time-consuming part of these 20 meals is needing some onions in this. Alright, so now that we have chopped everything up, we're going to now, I'm going to start doing these meals, assembling them for the freezer in sections. I'm going to start with my beef ones. I started by just grabbing a pen and writing on the bags. Now you can print out the labels and tape them on, or you can put them on label paper if you choose. But for me, I'm just going to do this because my printer is a little bit messed up. So for the beef, we have French dip subs, Mississippi pot roast, barbecue meatballs, beef tomatoes and noodles, roast potatoes and carrots, and actually there's a 6th one. It's beef tips and gravy. So I was confused. There's more than 5. There's 6 of the beef. So I skipped one. It's beef and noodles. Beef, tomatoes, and noodles. Okay, so now that those are all written on, I will grab one at a time and quickly assemble them. Now I have these baggie stands. I have several, so I could set up 2 or 3 at a time, and I might do that. And then and you can buy these stands at Walmart, and I'll link to them in the YouTube notes. So for French dip, I have my recipe here, and I always refer to the recipe and just to make sure I have everything I need. All right, for French dip, I need a 3 to 4 pound roast. I was only finding 2.5 pound roasts at my store, so I bought several roasts. And then I got another one that I cut a chunk off of. And your family might be okay with 2.5. We just have a big family, so I usually go up on the meat. So then we're going to do 2 cans of French onion condensed soup and 1 of beef consomme. You know, sometimes when there's a lot in the bottom of these, it doesn't want to stay. So I just let it, this one just slipped out on its own. But the very big important thing on things with this much liquid is that you do not, you make sure you get it all the way sealed and get as much air of it out as you possibly can. But if you don't get it sealed, you will have a mess on the counter. See, that looks pretty good. That will help marinate that meat all that time, and then you'll be able to use the juices later to dip. And I do have buns and cheese to put on it after it's done cooking. So then we have Mississippi roast, number 2. We're gonna once again do a chunk of that roast and a 3 to 4 pound roast. So I'm just gonna Now this calls for 3 tablespoons of oil. A packet of onion soup mix. Just gonna spread that on. A packet of, shake that down, of brown gravy mix. A whole jar of whole pepperoncinis. Just gonna dump that in. It's just gonna give this a really delicious taste. Funny story, my 5-year-old keeps walking by these and asks if she can have them, and I'm like, no, they're for a recipe. All right, and then we need a stick of butter. All right, and now meal number 2 is done. So those 2 meals took a good 5 minutes of that. And it's a good idea to mix everything around as much as you can so everything gets good and coated. And I'm not gonna leave this out here long. I'm gonna try to get all my beef ones done and then I'll go freeze it. All right, next is the barbecue meatballs. This one we're not going to put the meatballs in. They're in their own separate bag. So I'm just gonna mix together the sauce that we're gonna cook in them, and that is a cup of onions, chopped onions. So I'll measure that out really fast. We're gonna go with 1 whole bottle of chili sauce. I buy this in the condiment section. Looks like a bottle of ketchup, but slightly different. Alright, so we're going to put that in there. Then other than that, we just need a little bit of lemon juice. We need 2 teaspoons. Two. That makes that one complete, which I could have used a quart size bag for this one, so if you have a quart size bag, feel free to use that instead. Or I could even go ahead and put the meatballs in it, and some may prefer to do that. I just think I want to do mine later, so I'm going to do it like that. But I am going to have it all mixed up, so it's easy to pour on. Here's the third. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead to the roast potatoes and carrots one, so I can get these roasts put in a bag before I grab my stew meat. Alright, so we're going to put this large roast in, along with this extra chunk. And this roast is really easy. We're going to do a packet of onion soup mix, and then some water. And then on cooking day, we'll add the potatoes and carrots. Got my packet of onion soup mixed. And we're just going to add that. Now, it doesn't really matter how much water you use. I will probably do about a cup in there. I'm doing a cup so that if I decide to do this in the Instant Pot, I'll have all the water I need in the bag. If you do it in the slow cooker, you might add a little bit more water. Now for the beef, tomatoes, and noodles, this is a 2 3/4 of a pound of beef. So I'm gonna put probably more like 2 pounds in there, and then the other one will get the rest, because it calls for 2.5 pounds for that one, and one is 1.5, one is 2. You know, I might just have, well, yeah, I keep changing my mind. But anyway, that one's gonna have a little more meat than it calls for in the recipe, but that's okay. We like meat. And this is just stew meat that we're putting in both of these. And you know, I don't know if you eat much stew meat, but I love how it ends up turning out in the slow cooker and the Instant Pot, but especially the slow cooker. The longer it cooks in those juices and stuff. It's usually really good. So this beef tips and gravy is one of my husband's favorites. He has a few favorites, but we eat it over mashed potatoes, and it's a man pleaser, I should say. Those guys that like meat, anyway. All right, for the tomatoes, beef tomatoes and noodles, we were going to add 2 cans of stewed tomatoes. There's the tomatoes. An onion chopped. And then we need some salt and pepper. Now that recipe, once it's cooked, it will have, if you do it in the Instant Pot, there should be enough liquid in it to not have the burn notice come on if you have a newer Instant Pot. But if yours tends to do it easily, consider adding a little bit more water, maybe a half cup. But with those tomatoes, there should be enough. All right, for the beef tips and gravy, I need a packet of gravy and a cup of water. I'm supposed to actually mix it all together first, but I think since, just to save time, and since it's all going in the bag together anyway, I'm not going to deal with that part. It'll mix pretty well if I just squish it around. And then we need a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, however you say that. It'll give it a nice flavor with that beef gravy mix. All right, so now all of our beef dishes are done. All right, now we're ready for our chicken dishes. So for the chicken dishes, we're going to do chicken fajitas, salsa verde chicken tacos, chicken Parmesan pasta, creamy Italian chicken, orange chicken, teriyaki chicken, and BBQ chicken sandwiches. So we're going to start with, we'll start with the chicken fajitas, and we're just going to put all the sliced green peppers and onions, well, not all the onions, half of the onions and all the sliced green peppers in a bag. And we're going to freeze that bag for the day they cook, or you can leave them in the fridge if you know you're going to do it soon. About right. So that's all that goes in that one. All right, now for the second bag of chicken fajitas, we are going to just, it calls for 2.5 pounds, and I know that there's about 7 in a 3-pound bag, so I'm just going to do about 6. And I already lost count. That's 5, 6. A can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. And I always shake these down before I open them, but 2 packages of fajita seasoning. Now, if you took the time to slice your chicken first, that's great, but if you didn't, you will want to slice these after they cook. All right, so the salsa verde chicken is the same thing. Do about 7, said 6 to 7 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. There's 3, 4, 5, 7. Do a jar of salsa verde, and then we need a 1.5 teaspoons of cumin and a teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of paprika. There's those 2. Next is chicken Parmesan pasta, where we will need 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. There's 2 stuck together there, so I'm just going to use those. And these 2. 1 of the jars of spaghetti sauce. And minced garlic and a 1/2 cup of chicken broth. All right, so we're gonna put a tablespoon, which I usually do a heaping tablespoon just because I like garlic, of minced garlic, and a half cup of chicken broth. And that's all on this one. Next we have creamy Italian chicken and orange chicken. So we'll start with creamy Italian. It calls for 6 boneless chicken breasts. 2 creamy Italian. 1, 2. And the other one also calls for 6. I'm going to put these last 3 in and then add 3 more when I open the next bag. Well, actually there's 4. Alright, so after putting the chicken breast in, I'm going to add a can of cream chicken soup. And a packet of Italian dressing. Mix, that is. I needed another half cup of chicken broth. Here we go. Let's seal that one. There's the creamy Italian chicken. Now for the orange chicken. A half cup of orange marmalade. And then we need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, plus a bottle of barbecue sauce. So I'm going to add the cornstarch now. 1, 2. All right, rather than, it turns out that I forgot to buy soy sauce at the store, so I'm just going to make a note on my recipe that I need to add it to the on cooking day. And I was going to mix all this together, but I decided I'll also do that on cooking day. And we can mix some of it right now. And also, if it's this thick, well, no, it's probably fine for chicken, but you may consider adding more liquid, maybe a half cup for the Instant Pot. But a lot of times it's okay with chicken because a lot of liquid cooks off the chicken. Now that's 11 down, 9 to go. So next we're doing barbecue chicken sandwiches and teriyaki chicken. All right, for the teriyaki chicken, once again, I forgot my so soy sauce at the store. I thought I had some and I don't. And so I'm gonna add that later, but I'm gonna put everything else in. So it calls for a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And then 1/8 cup of brown sugar. I'm just gonna guess on that how much this is because I have a half cup measure. And then it would be packed, so I'm just gonna do about 1/4 not packed. And then I need 1/3 of a cup of pineapple juice. And I already put the chicken in the bag so I could quickly wash my hands because I was going back and forth to the sink. So 1/3 cup is right there. So just a taste of pineapple. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. So I'm going to also make a note on here to add soy sauce to it whenever I put it in, because it calls for a 1/2 cup, and that's going to be important if I use this in the Instant Pot to bring it to pressure. And of course you would not have that teriyaki flavor without it. And the last of the chicken dishes is this barbecue chicken sandwiches. I'm going to remove that. Really, this one's super easy. We're just doing a chopped onion, so about 1 cup. And then I pour 16 ounces of barbecue sauce on it, and then I save the rest to mix in it after it's cooked and shredded. So basically I get a 32 ounce bottle of barbecue sauce. Cook some with it and then mix it in with the rest. There we go. Alright, now I've done 7 chicken dishes and it's time to move on to pork. For my last one I realized I wasn't recording. But what I did was I put in a cup of ginger ale with 4 pounds of pork. We're going to shred it and when it cooks, and then we'll add barbecue sauce to it. So it seems really simple, but it will be really tasty. All right, now for the savory pork roast. That is a 3 to 4 pounds of pork roast and then a large onion sliced. So I'm going to use half of this. And then a bay leaf. And I'll tell you what, I really messed up with that soy sauce because I have another recipe that needs it. These are small, so I'm going to put in 2. A tablespoon of garlic powder. And then we will have to add some soy sauce on the day of cooking. And if you're using the Instant Pot, it will take water, but that is on the recipe. Next, we'll do the pork tenderloin and veggies, and we're going to add the rest of the chopped onion. Should be about a cup. And then we're going to add the rest of the pork roast that I have ready. And then after that I got to mix together some apple butter, Dijon mustard, and soy sauce. Alright, for this sauce that goes over the pork tenderloin, we're going to use a half cup of apple butter, a cup of beef broth, a 1/3 cup of Dijon mustard, and then you can salt and pepper it to taste. Just do a little bit. And then a 4 teaspoons of minced garlic, but 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so I'm going to just do a heaping tablespoon. And of course it calls for soy sauce, and I'm going to add that the day I put it in the Instant Pot or slow cooker. So I'm just mixing that all together before I pour it on. This one's really good. It cooks with new potatoes and baby carrots. It's got a really good flavor. Let me seal it. Get all the air out if possible, as much as you can. And there's another one. On that last one, that's what I had the red onions cut for. So you could choose to save them and put them in on cooking day with the potatoes and carrots, or you can add them here. Since I already have mine cut, I'm just going to go ahead and add them back into that. Now that's ready. Alright, so now we're going to do Italian pork chops and barbecue pork chops. I'm just going to split the last of these pork chops between those 2 bags. Now the barbecue pork chops get the onions, the remaining onions that we have, so I add those. And that's all in that bag. On cooking day we're going to cover it in barbecue sauce, but we don't have to add it to the bag. We can just pour it on. And for the Italian one, we are going to add a bottle of Italian dressing and some salt and pepper if you want it. I usually wait and do my salt and pepper as needed per person because our family likes differing amounts. And really there's probably plenty of salt in this, so I'm just going to pour that whole bottle in, and it's going to be like a marinade, and then it cooks in it really good. Anyway, those 2 are done, and I'm ready for the last one. And that is Linguini Alfredo. Okay, for this one we're going to do 1.5 cups of chicken broth, And 1.5 cups of whipped heavy cream. And then 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. And then if you have any leftover chicken, you could add that to it and just cook chicken with it. And then, but if not, you can just freeze this by itself. And then you'll cook the noodles with it. I know it seems weird to just freeze that, but it's ready and all you have to do is throw it in and just throw the noodles in and you will be set. All right, so we did it. We did all 20 of these recipes and I now have my freezer full, or it will be as soon as I get these in it. And I'm going to take them out to my outdoor freezer in my building, and I will have something to pull from every night when I know it's busy, or I can put it in the morning in my slow cooker, I can put it in the evening in my Instant Pot. So that was 20 items, or 20 meals. And just so you know, I did all my shopping at Walmart this time because I didn't have time to run 45 minutes to Aldi. It's a 45-minute drive for us. And it cost us $269 for all of these meals. And it took me 2 hours to assemble all of them. Now, some of that was just because I didn't have a helper and I was running back and forth to turn on and off the camera and to open my jars and stuff like that. So if you have a helper and need to go a little bit faster, it would really not be that hard to go faster, since you're just basically opening up bags, dumping stuff in, and then you just go. And that's why they call these dump and go meals, even though people cringe at that name. There's a real good meaning behind it because they're so quick to put together, and we like quick when we're busy. So now I would like to invite you. I do have this meal plan that I put together today is available. It's for free whenever you subscribe to my freezer to slow cooker and Instant Pot meal plan. You can only subscribe for a month and cancel if you just want to get the meal plan, this 20 meal plan, or you can subscribe for a while and try it out, and you can cancel anytime you want to. But I will leave a link to that in the show notes at the bottom, and so you can click that if you're interested in joining this challenge of filling your freezer for the holiday season. And anyway, thank you for joining us, and I hope that you'll subscribe and stick around. We will be doing more slow cooker and Instant Pot meals and lots of freezer meals and anything easy for busy families. So let me know if you have any suggestions.